So you're interested in starting to make jigs for yourself, but you're not real sure what you need to get started. There's only 3 or 4 items that you really need in addition to your supplies, and then you can just start making jigs. Once you start making jigs, first jig I made took about 10 minutes to make. So the very first thing that you're going to need is a vise, and the vise I've got is the Peak rotary vise. Hopefully you can see that without the reflection. That's the box, and this is the vise. You lock the jig in, you can spin it. There's other attachments that I'll never use. The base is probably about 10 pounds. You can get the same vise so it can actually clip onto a table. I decided on this vise after looking on the internet for a number of times. Talked to some friends. It's the best approach, and a couple of my friends use this vise, so I went and bought this vise. I could have bought a vise for $20, $30, or I could have bought this one, I think it was like $130. I wanted something that was a little bit better quality, would hold up, the jigs wouldn't fall out of, and everything. You could probably just use vice grips and alligator clips to make your vise. I wanted something, this is your main item for making the jigs, so just needed something good. Another item you're going to need is a bobbin to hold your thread. And the reason for that is the bobbin gives you the tension of the thread. The thread feeds through the bobbin, and then you do your wraps. Based on this, you can let the bobbin hang, and you still keep the tension on the jig while you're doing it. So the bobbin is just this. The pieces, you pull these apart or push them together to get the proper tension on your thread. It just clips onto your thread like that, and then you feed the thread through the little shaft in the bobbin. Now, the first time I tried to do this, I was feeding and thinking, well, I probably should have bought the bobbin threader, and it would have been a lot easier. What I found out is if I can see what I'm doing, get the thread started in the bobbin, then you just suck it through, and your threads through the bobbin. So there's no need to spend money on I guess it's called a bobbin threader. Another tool that I bought but I don't use is the whip. The whip, you put your thread through here, you finish off your jig by spinning it. This just turns, and the way you do it, it creates a knot in the thread because it basically overlaps the thread, and then you're tying it off. I've been able to do a hand whip. Basically, I just take the thread around my fingers, go around the jig, and tie it off that way. So I've used this on the first couple jigs, and then it's just put on the side. Something that you will need are some very sharp scissors with a good point. These are Fiskars. The point you need is so that when you get into the spine of the feather, you can get in between the feathers and the spine and cut that little bit without cutting half your feathers off. So that's where you need the sharp and a real good point. Some people have scissors that have a curve to them. They like those a lot better than something that's straight like this. Just get yourself a really good pair of scissors. Those are the items that you need for jig making for me to get started. Now, I'm doing crappie jigs. Maybe if I was doing jigs for flies, that might be a little different. I've not done that type of thing. Then from your supply standpoint, you'll need, obviously you need hooks. I use, these are 1/16 ounce and 1/8 ounce sickle hooks. I don't even use I don't paint them. I just use them, you know, with the lead. Then, you know, your hooks just go into the jig. You'll need some chenille. These are a couple different colors of chenilles. These are all from Woods and Water. Again, you know, I've got an assortment of chenilles. Then I have an assortment of feathers. I've been buying some of my supplies from Woods and Water because they seem to give good quantities, and I'm real happy with the results. So basically, you need the feathers, the chenille, the hook, and a thread. I have white thread. This is 210 Daniels, and I have 210 of the black. I've yet to use the black. If I really cared about the color and it was exposed, I could use a Sharpie to make the white and make it turn you know, a different color. If I were doing a jig where I had a lot of the thread showing, because some of the jigs you'll make will have a lot of thread, you can buy different colored threads so that you have that. So then to finish it off, I use hard as nails. It's, you know, I don't put it on with the brush. I use toothpicks, buy a box of toothpicks. This is the first toothpick that I've used, and I keep using it. I dip it in the bottle, I get a little bit on there, and I put it on the jig. Just that little drop is all I'm putting on. I don't feel that these need to be all glued up, and typically I'm going to lose a jig before it's going to fall apart. And the jigs I've been making, I've only lost 2 or 3 of them, where plastic jigs I was losing all the time. So then, you know, once you get, you know, assortment of different things, you don't have to go all out. My wife went out and she found some yellow chenille at the dollar store. So I have a lifetime supply of yellow. When I go out and walk the dog, I find different feathers, and I can use the feathers in making the jig. A feather like each one of these, I'll make the smaller one, I'll easily get 2 jigs out of. I might get 3. This one, which has been run over by a truck or something, I'll have to comb it out a little bit, but I could probably get 3 or 4 jigs out of that one. And so just walking in the neighborhood, I've got a pile of feathers that I can use in addition to the hackle I've bought for the different colors, and that's my supplies. So just wanted to give an idea, because so many times it's like, what do I buy to get started in something like this? Jig making is not an expensive hobby to get started in, and making a jig in 10 minutes, you can make a lot of jigs in an hour if you wanted to. I make my jigs for myself. Just go crappie fishing. So thank you for watching, and tight lines.